All right, y'all. So one of the things that you're going to need to be mindful of when you're working on your projects is that unless you are doing your recording in a soundproof studio, you are probably going to wind up with some background noise that you're going to want to try and clean up. Now, one of the pieces of advice that I can give you, and in fact is the main piece of advice that I can give you to try and mitigate this concern, is to make sure that you're recording in a place where you have some control over the amount of noise present. So recording, let's say in your dorm room, would probably be a safe bet. Whereas if you record on a part of the campus where there's just a lot of noise going on, like let's say you do your recording in the lobby of Cooper Library, you're going to wind up with a lot of noise that you're not going to be able to completely remove from your work. All right, so be mindful of that. Smaller, more enclosed spaces typically are going to work a little bit better. But even then, you may still wind up with a little bit of background noise. So, y'all, there's actually multiple ways that you can do away with background noise, but because we are keeping things intro level, I'm just going to show you the easiest, the most streamlined way to do it. So first things first, we have the sound file selected that we want to try and edit. Up here in the top left-hand corner, we are going to toggle from the multi-track view into the waveform view. All right, and this is where we are going to apply any sort of effects to an individual sound file. So let's say that we want to go ahead and try to get rid of some of the background noise. Now, this is not a great example, y'all, because this recording that I did, I originally recorded this in a space where there already was not a lot of background noise. I'm typically very careful about selecting where I do my recordings. But nevertheless, I'm going to walk you through the steps of how you would want to do this for your own work. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to try and preview what kind of changes you are making before you actually apply them to the entire sound file. So you'll see that when we toggle over to waveform view, if you'll notice here, we no longer have a cursor. We now have the time selection tool, which is the only tool that you are able to use when you're in waveform. We're going to go ahead and we're going to highlight part of that clip. The reason that you're doing this is because you want to give yourself a before and after comparison of this effect before you apply it to the entire thing. So we're going to move our blue playhead back. So again, we'll see what this sounds like before we apply the noise reduction and after as well. So in order to do that, once you have that part of the clip selected, we're going to go up here to Effects. We're going to go into Noise Reduction and Restoration, and you're going to click De-Noise. All right. And the only parts of this window here that you need to be mindful of are the slider, which is what you're going to use to determine how much background noise you're trying to get rid of. You are going to make note of the preview, the play stop button down here, and you want to make sure that the output noise only is not checked. I repeat, do not check that box right there. Okay, so what we're going to do here is this. You're going to move the slider around to determine how much of background noise you want to take out of it. Let's say that I put this on the lower end of the scale at about 20%. We can now preview what that's going to sound like.
While our knowledge of audition is going to be entry level, one thing that I want you to know now, while our knowledge of audition is going to be entry level, one thing that I want you to know for sure is that
all right, so we can hear a very slight difference there, but we still want to try and get rid of a little bit more of it. Now, in my case, I had this set to a previous mark that sounded good to me. It was about 75%. And I know, y'all, you might be thinking in the back of your mind, well, why don't I just want to put this to 100%? It makes sense that I want to get rid of all the background noise, right? Well, the thing is, if you set that slider to 100%, chances are Adobe Audition is going to get rid of the background noise, but it's probably also going to eat a little bit into your principal audio. So it could damage the audio that you actually want your audience to hear. So it is possible to do too much here. So you just need to mess around with this until you find the setting that works best for you. So this is with 75%. Let's go ahead and play that back.
While our knowledge of audition is going to be entry level, one thing that I want you to know for sure is that aside from
Okay, so 75% to me actually sounds really good. And by the way, if you get it to the number that you really like, y'all, and let's say you accidentally click out of the window, well, if you go back into Effects, Noise Reduction, Restoration, back to De-Noise, it's going to save what you originally set it at, even if you wind up closing this window by accident. So you're in good shape there, all right? So now, I've got the noise reduced to a degree that I like. I'm now going to go ahead, I'm going to click on the entire sound file, and now I just have to click Apply. All right, and we have applied a de-noise filter to our work.